Hey, what is up guys, it's Galaxy Tech Dark Lord here, coming to you guys today with a deck profile on my channel that we haven't seen for a while. So this is Hieratic Chaos. So I'm not going to do Reckless Summon Hieratics until probably until we get Cypher Dragon. But yeah, I wanted to try something a bit different with Hieratics. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more fun. It's not competitively viable, I wouldn't say. If you're looking to take it to locals, then it might do well, but there's no guarantees with all the other stuff running around. So yeah, I'll get straight into it. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I've also because a lot of people know what most of this stuff does anyway. So I'm not gonna really go into great depth on the Hieratic stuff. So we've got the standard Hieratic lineup. So 3 Tefnuit, 3 Su, 3 Nebthet, and 3 Eset. So, yeah. I don't think I need to go into great depth on this because it's been out for a while. So yeah, but it's a very good rank 6 engine. So yeah. So then we are for the Chaos Dragons playing triple Lightpulsar. It's really good. Just retrieves all your Dark Dragons from the graveyard when it goes there, and it just accelerates rank 6 plays and kind of accelerates you can go for Ultimate with it, but I wouldn't recommend doing that first. 2 copies of Darklfare, because this actually does help get dragons into the graveyard, and it does banish stuff from your opponent's graveyard that they might want to use later, which is good, but for the most part it's just there to be a beat stick. 2 copies of Apocralyph. Yet again, retrieving stuff from the graveyard is sometimes vital. Sometimes you need to get the right stuff. Recycling your Hieratics, recycling your Lightpulsars, or even your Darkness Metal Dragon, because that's generally what ends up being the graveyard the most, because they want to get it out of the way, the opponents. Then 1 Keeper of the Shrine, because we run Dragon Shrine. 1 copy of Eclipse Wyvern to banish the 1 copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon that we have to search it out later. Sometimes this clashes with Dragon King of Atum. It depends on what we get into first. If we get into Dragon Shrine, we can send a Labradorite Dragon and possibly a Lightpulsar or an Eclipse Wyvern to try and search this if we have ways of getting it from, if we have ways of banishing Eclipse Wyvern from the graveyard. Otherwise, we do the standard Hieratic play of go for Atum and summon this. So then, for the normals, playing 2 copies of Labradorite Dragon to round off mainly the main monster lineup. Then for the hand traps, 3 copies of Maxx, because in Hieratics this is really vital. The best hand for Hieratics is a handful of Hieratics. They just play by themselves, so Maxx is really good to just plus off of that. And then 3 copies of Gorz, because if you drop Maxx, 2 copies of Gorz, because if you drop Maxx, then and you draw into this when your opponent is trying to go for an OTK, this just blocks the OTK. And the same goes for Tragoedia, but Gorz is just a lot more prominent with that. And Tragoedia's attack will also go up by the amount of cards in your hand times 600. So if you plus a lot off of Maxx and then drop the Tragoedia, it could have a massive amount of attack. So yeah, that rounds off the monster lineup. Look at that, 31 monsters in here. 31 monsters. So then for the spells, it's very simple. 3 copies of Convocation to search for your Hieratics. 3 copies of Dragon Shrine to put dragons in the grave. 1 copy of Reasoning. So this is kind of a bit gimmicky. If your opponent doesn't know what you're playing game 1, then you can drop this. They probably might declare a level 1 for the Cosmo Tin Can. You flip over your cards until you find one of your level 5s or 6s or something, and that goes onto the field instead. But then you side it out game 2, because your opponent now knows what you're playing. But yeah, it's a bit gimmicky, but I enjoy playing it when I actually draw into it. 1 copy of Upstart for consistency purposes, and 1 copy of Raigeki to round that off. So, honourable mention, I was considering Pot of Desires, because if we run 3 of each of the Hieratics, there's a very low chance of banishing all of them. But then again, also there's a chance of banishing your Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon and several of your other combo pieces. So I decided to skip out on the Pot of Desires for this. I don't think it works very well in this deck. So then for the extras, for the extra deck, this is kind of where everything comes alive, in my opinion. One copy of Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Maxx, because we can go into this with in several ways, mainly involving Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon and either Tragoedia or Dragocytus, which I'll explain later. So yeah, this is mainly just to finish off a massive cowboy for game, basically. Then 3 copies of Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. This is mainly to be paired with our Hieratic Dragon, King of Atom, because once our Atom's effect goes off, it cannot declare an attack that turn. So you basically just overlay onto Gaia Charger and you get piercing damage and 200 extra attack points. On top of the 2400, that is. Then 1 copy of M7, because this is still so useful if you want to recur the plays of Darkness Metal Dragon with Hieratic Dragon, King of Atom, or just get rid of anything your opponent has on the field that is kind of bugging you. Then 1 Utopia Beyond. This is so good in this deck because everything will just drop to 0, and which means that your Hieratics can OTK better. You can just get over pretty much anything on the field. It's just a shame that there are no double pierces in this deck, because that would be, or just monsters that double attack, like with Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon in this, because that would just make the game go so much faster. Then 1 Photon Strike Bouncer, just in case you can't OTK and you can overlay in main phase 2, and you know your opponent has a lot of monster effects on the field. Then lastly for the rank 6, 1 Gauntlet Launcher, just because it's another monster you can use. You can detach both materials from it to pop your opponent's cards, and then go for a Gaia Charger. So yeah. So that's all the Xyz monsters I run. I was considering rank 5s as well, because we do have the Darklfare, the Hieratic Dragon of Nebthet, and Eset, but I decided for it to instead go for the Ultimaya, Zulkan, and 1 Crystal Wing to go with it. So the play is not prominent in the deck by any means. You tend to prefer to go for your rank 6s, but when you do get it out with Crystal Wing, it is quite a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, but in the next variant, I might, if I do an update for this, I might try running doing a different approach to this, probably in the form of a Tyrus, Keeper of Genesis, and something and a Volcasaurus. So yeah. Then for the bigger synchros, 1 Leo, because you can go into this with your Labradorite Dragon and any of your rank 4 level 4 dragons in the deck. So that's Divine Dragon Apocralyph, your Eclipse Wyvern, or Keeper of the Shrine. And the same goes for Dragocytus. So this is a lot more prominent because this thing is a 4000 beta. It cannot be destroyed by battle, and when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, it can attack once to get a second monster again. If it could just make a second attack full stop, that would be even better, but if your opponent has a very well established board, this thing can beat over pretty much anything the opponent has with its 4000 attack, and then it can just make another attack on another monster. And if you pair this with Utopia Beyond, that is 8k damage. That is enough to OTK them. That is why this is here, and this is why I love this card so much. Lastly, 1 Star Eater, because we have Labradorite Dragon and we have some level 5s in the deck that don't always have the right application, so Star Eater is really useful because it's a really, really strong card still. So, guys, that brings me to the end of the deck profile. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment to suggest improvements. They would be greatly appreciated because I absolutely love this deck to pieces. So yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content on my channel. Peace out.